Hello, this is John Miares from the USDA NAS Great Lakes Regional Field Office in East Lansing, Michigan. In this presentation, we're going to be discussing the purpose of the 2020 Vegetable Chemical Use Survey and how it benefits farmers. We will also be talking about how screening procedures will work this year and what information you will need to review and complete on the face page of the questionnaire. Much of what we're going to be presenting here is very similar to information provided for the ARMS Phase 2 survey, as the layout of both surveys is very similar, save for the target crops. To that end, items that were covered in extensive detail on the ARMS 2 pages might not be given as much attention here, since most enumerators are going to be working both surveys. The Vegetable Chemical Use Survey, or VCUS for short, is conducted every 2 years in all 3 states in our region. Approximately 450 operators will be contacted during 2020 across our region to provide information on actual nutrient and fertilizer use, pesticide applications, and pest management practices. Responses from vegetable growers to the VCUS help ensure that regulated nutrients and chemicals critical to vegetable production remain available on the market. The resulting state-level estimates will be used by the Food and Drug Administration and USDA's Agricultural Marketing Service to help address water quality and food safety issues. NASS has been collecting data about fertilizer and pesticide use on major field crops and selected fruits, vegetables, melons, and strawberries since 1990. During the late 1980s, rising concern about pesticide and plant nutrient levels in well water spurred Congress to fund an initiative to enhance water quality, but data were needed for assessing the scope of the issues, and those data were scarce. The Water Quality Initiative mandated the development of a comprehensive database describing the nature of agricultural chemical use in the United States. So NASS, along with other USDA agencies, including the Agricultural Marketing Service, the Human Nutrition Information Service, and the Office of Pest Management Policy, began collecting and analyzing agricultural chemical use and residue data. The aggregations of these data form the basis of USDA's Pesticide Data Program, or PDP. In 1996, the implementation of the Food Quality Protection Act, or FQPA, required the EPA to conduct an accelerated review of tolerance levels for re-registration of pesticide products. An interdepartmental working group consisting of members from NASS, AMS, EPA, HNIS, OPMP, and other USDA agencies meet regularly to coordinate USDA pesticide data collection as required by the FQPA. The PDP continues to be used by these agencies to evaluate the safety of the nation's food supply, potential human exposure to pesticide residues, and water quality issues. Accurate and timely information on actual usage can be used in the FQPA decision-making process for product registration, re-registration, and product alternatives. Of course, only growers can provide the actual usage information, which is why this survey is so important. The FQPA requires the EPA to use actual data rather than assuming that maximum label rates being applied on all crop acres. NASS survey results typically show that producers are using far less than the maximum recommended label rates allowed. Farmers do benefit from the NASS chemical use data that are published, although most of their benefits are not direct. The main user of the chemical use data is the EPA, but growers do have a vested interest in the risk analysis that are made because many pesticides they rely on are classified as minor use. Growers often have no alternatives to these chemicals, so serious consequences can occur if re-registration of these pesticides are not allowed. Because of these surveys, data are available to measure the impact of the cancellation of pesticides to both farmers and consumers. There are other important benefits gained from responding to this survey. Growers do have a chance to tell how they use chemicals responsibly and to maintain a safe and abundant food supply. The survey results are official USDA estimates which can help establish facts about chemical use. Accurate data can be used to lessen concern of consumers and export markets. Accurate and timely information on actual usage can be used in the decision-making process for product registration, re-registration, and product alternatives. The data are also used by extension advisors, extension scientists in writing reports, consultants, farm businesses, and are in farm magazines or newspapers, which also provide help and information to farmers. Although a CAPI instrument will be available for data entry in 2020, all enumerators will be receiving blank paper questionnaires labeled with the names and contact information for all target operators and their partners inside of kit envelopes. Also within those kit envelopes, you're going to find comment sheets, respondent booklets, pesticide supplements, consent forms, and acreage inserts. The consent forms are necessary in order to allow NASS to contact companies providing custom spray services and collect pesticide application information in the event that the operator is unable to provide those data to you directly. For 2020, verbal consent to contact custom sprayers may be provided over the telephone by the operators. The acreage insert will provide information about vegetable acres planted and reported on the 2020 Integrated Screening Survey conducted this summer. Although every operator who was sampled for the VegChem survey completed the Integrated Screening Survey, there is still a chance that the information on the insert is not 100% accurate, so it should be verified with the respondent during the VegChem interview. There are several other resources which were included in the UPS packages sent to you that should help you prepare for this survey. These include copies of the pre-survey letters that were sent to respondents, copy of the backgrounder flyer, extra copies of the questionnaire, a copy of your detailed assignment listings, a copy of the bubble sheets for Michigan operators who want to receive credit towards a restricted use pesticide applicator license, a copy of the interviewer's manual, and practice exercises. On the face page of the questionnaire, in addition to writing notes about the attempted contacts, you should indicate that the names, addresses, and partners, which are listed on page 3, were verified and updated as necessary. Here is also where you can indicate the start time of the interview in military time. Page 2 is where we can report any changes to the operation name or the operator. As a reminder, operators were pre-screened this summer when they completed the integrated screening survey. If the operation on the face page was in business only during part of the 2020 year, we want to complete the questionnaire for the part of the year during which the operation did business, unless the operation has been taken over by a new operator. If the operator changed mid-year, substitution may be allowed. It is recommended that you conduct the interview start to finish with the new operator once you have established that substitution is valid. If the new operator can report all of the chemicals for the 2020 calendar year and manage this operation separate from an existing operation, then substitution is valid. However, if the new operator incorporated the current vegetable operation into his own existing operation or cannot report all the chemicals applied during the growing season, then substitution is not valid. It is important to note that the primary name on the label of the questionnaire can be an individual, or this could be a partnership, or this could be the operation name. But it is critical that the operation must be the same as the name on the label without any major name changes in order to be able to collect the data for this survey. On page 3, the respondent is asked if the operation grew any of the target crops during the 2020 crop year. In Ohio, the target crops are bell peppers and pumpkins. In Michigan, the target crops are asparagus, snap beans, cucumbers, pumpkins, and squash, and in Indiana, the target crops are pumpkins and watermelons. If the operator did not grow any of those particular target crops, you are asked to write notes in the space provided explaining the situation and then go to the conclusion on the back page. You're next asked how the day-to-day decisions for the operation are made, whether they are by one individual, a hired manager, or by partners. This question is very similar to questions that we currently ask on surveys like the Crops APS survey, the County Estimate survey, cattle, hogs, and other similar multi-frame surveys. If there are other partners in the partnership, be sure to verify that their address and contact information is correct. Before we close out this presentation, we'd like to bring out a few more reminders about the face page and screening. Be sure you take the time to practice your introduction. As part of your self-study, you are expected to complete at least one mock interview with a partner, either another enumerator in your group or your supervisor, to help you feel comfortable with collecting this data over the phone and get yourself more comfortable with being able to explain to a respondent the purpose of the survey and the benefits of the survey. In order to obtain the most accurate information, it is going to be best to interview the operator or a designated person who is most knowledgeable about the operation, but also encourage the use of farm records. You're reminded that the interview time needs to be recorded in military time. However, interviews that require multiple contacts should have both the date and time written in a note on the face page near the beginning time box. We can accumulate the minutes and the hours and write the total on the back near the time in hours office use box. Be sure to verify the name and addresses. Make sure the spelling of the name and the entire address is correct. Obtain any other arrangements or names that are not listed on the label. Also, as a reminder, if the operation was in business during part of the crop year but went out of business during the year, we want to be sure to complete a questionnaire for the part of the year during which the operation was in business. If the person on the label is a landlord and is actually not the person who is the operator making the day-to-day decisions for the operation, that person should be excluded from the survey. The bottom line is that we are trying to get as many complete surveys as possible and to be able to get pesticide application data on the vegetable operation for the entire year. If the operation has changed hands and you're not sure if substitution is appropriate, you can always contact the regional field office. When in doubt, fill it out. The paper questionnaire will contain labels for partners that we are aware about. Please be sure to verify the printed information on the paper questionnaire is correct. If a partner is no longer involved, draw an X on the label. A note as to why the partner is no longer involved will be helpful. Because we are using the CAPI system this year, it will be equally important to make sure that the partners are verified or updated in the CAPI system. Information for new partners in an operation should be written neatly and completely to allow for ease of transcription into the CAPI instrument.